I just got some feedback last night that my Creole is terrible. That was the exact phrase that I got, and it came from a 14-year-old. How am I doing so far? How's my Creole?
Well, you get into it. Getting there.
Okay, fine. All right, cool.
If it's during the day, we say I'll be afternoon.
I'll be afternoon.
Yeah,
Afternoon, right? I'll be afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'll be afternoon.
No, afternoon.
That's gonna be some more, guys. Boom! What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living in West Africa. And if you want to know the top 25 phrases and words you need to know in Creole before coming to Sierra Leone, then this is the video for you. Okay, cool. So today we are meeting up with Bintu. Now she has a YouTube channel and she does content about lifestyle and all those kinds of things. She's obviously a native Creole speaker, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a Creole lesson today. So here's how it's gonna work. We are gonna have the word in English on the screen. So obviously you know the word or phrase in English. We'll also have the word or phrase on the whiteboard in Creole. She's gonna say the word in Creole. I'm gonna say the word in English. We're gonna give you some context so you feel comfortable coming and using the words and phrases when you come to Sierra Leone. Also, you might impress some people when you can write it when you're sending people WhatsApp messages. So, without further ado, let's get right into the lesson. What's up, guys? I'm in Sierra Leone right now, and I'm here with Bintu Sesay.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Bintu Sesay, and my YouTube channel name is Sierra Bintu.
Bintu, what kind of content do you do on your channel?
I do mostly hygiene routines, and I do like explore Sierra Leone.
Nice. So if you want to get a day in the life of someone who's Sierra Leonean here in Sierra Leone, if you want to get like hygiene and makeup and all that kind of stuff, and also if you want to explore Sierra Leone, then definitely head over to Bintu's channel. Now today, we are going to go through some Creole phrases. I just got some feedback last night that my Creole is terrible. That was the exact phrase that I got, and it came from a 14-year-old. So it wasn't until I moved back to West Africa or started coming to Sierra Leone where I heard Creole more, and I wanted to speak it more, but of course you're shy about speaking it because you sound like a crazy person. But I tried. So today we're gonna do some lessons. Many of you have been asking for Creole lessons. We're gonna talk about Creole. We're gonna give you the history and how it's spoken and a little bit of some phonetics so you understand how it works. You have a true Creole speaker here with the right phonetics. I'm gonna try to do it the same way. We're gonna see how we do this.
Yeah.
Wish me luck, guys. All right, let's do it. All right, cool. So before we get into it, if you guys remember, I did the 25 tree words that I wish I knew before coming to Ghana. We're gonna do 25 Creole phrases and words that you should know before coming to Sierra Leone. But before I do that, I want to go into the history, a little bit about the language and some things that you should know. It helps you understand why some of it might sound familiar or you'll hear interchangeable words with other countries and other languages. So first of all, Sierra Leone is a country with 13 major tribes. One of the newer tribes here in Sierra Leone is the Creole tribe. And this is the language that's most widely spoken in Sierra Leone, and it's native to the Creoles. And Creole is sometimes used to describe a mixture of groups. Like if you know the folks who are Haitian, right? Their language is called Creole. It's spelled C-R-E-O-L-E. If you know the people in New Orleans in the United States, they're called Creole people. Like for instance, Beyonce, her family's from New Orleans. That's how, she even mentions it in the song. She's Creole, she has the Creole genes, right? So that's how it's usually described to mean like a mixture of things. Our Creole is spelled K-R-I-O, but it's derived from the idea of Creole people, like a mixture. The Creole tribe or peoples were freed slaves from Britain, the United States, Nova Scotia, Canada, and the West Indies. And it's mainly derived from English, but it does have influences from other African languages, like Yuroba, for example. Like, people here say no wahala, which is something that you hear in Nigeria. So if you hear our music, sometimes it'll be familiar to what you might hear from Nigerians, or Nigerians, when you hear their pidgin, Some of it's very familiar to our Creole. And it does have some other European languages. Some people mention Portuguese, things are thrown in there. Sometimes some French words are thrown in there as well. And it does contain maybe even some expressions from the West Indies, because the Creole tribe was a group of people derived from the ending of slavery, coming back on ships, who had left the continent via slavery, the slave trade, lived in other places and came back. And so that is kind of the history and the understanding of Creole. It's probably the most commonly spoken language in Sierra Leone. Although English is the official language of Sierra Leone, and even the most recent president had mentioned that English is supposed to be spoken in public places and in places of business, but you want to know some Creole before you come here. So I'm going to go through some phonetics and I'll put them on the screen here. There's like a thing that looks like an E, and in English it'd be the sound of bed. The regular E is more like the A and day. There's like what looks like a backwards C, which would be like cot, the O in cot. There's something that looks like an A. It's like an uppercase A without the cross. That's like the U in cut. And there's like an upside down E, which is like the OU in among. There's an O, which is like bowl or boat. There's the U, which is like fool. And then the I, which is like seat. So I is like E, like seat. And so those are like the vowels in Creole, right? So in English it's A-E-I-O-U. In Creole there are more vowels, it's more like 8 vowels. So that'll help you a little bit with the phonetics. So let's try to do this. All right, let's get into it. We'll jump right into it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go through greetings. So let's go. So now we're gonna jump into greetings. And of course, with the first greeting, the first word is hello.
And we know we say couche.
So couche or couche.
This is majority we use this way, like we go someplace, we meet people, like we gonna go say in English, we just say couche to people, like it's a form of a greeting.
Then the question kind of is, in some cases people ask how are you or how you're doing.
In Sierra Leone, we normally say how you did do, or we can ask as well how the body. It means like it's right for sometimes ask about the person in well-being.
Right.
How you did do, how the body, and that may we mean generally. But in English, it's kind of a bit different somehow.
Yeah, in English we just say how are you doing, you know. If you know someone's sick, you'll say how you're feeling. But in Creole, you have multiple options because you know you have typhoid, you have malaria, so people are always sick. Yeah, like how are you actually feeling? How are you actually feeling? So, ayedu is what I usually say, or audibodi. I don't say that as often because it's harder for me to get all the pronunciation right. I sound even worse saying audibodi versus saying ayedu. Because most of this is like words I've used in other languages. So ayedu is usually what I say to greet people. But audibodi, I guess I can also say too. How am I doing so far? How's my Creole?
Well, you get into it. You get in there.
Okay, fine. All right, cool. So we started with the question was, right, how are you doing? So now this is the response to how you're doing. The affirmative response. So if I'm doing well, I'm doing good. You know, we're very religious here in West Africa, so people say thank God, right? And so the responses usually are like thanking God or I'm doing well and I'm doing fine.
Yes, so we respond, say, well, the body fine, not bad. And sometimes we can say, tell God thank you. And most people always they use this last one.
Yes.
Tell God thank you.
Especially adults.
Yes.
Especially adults, they say tell God thank you. So, well means I'm feeling well physically.
Yeah.
Right? The body fine also means my body is physically fine.
Yeah.
No bad, which is usually my response.
I'm okay.
I'm good, I'm okay. And then tell God thank you.
We didn't give the glory.
There it goes. There it is. Alright, so those are the common responses to Audibody and Ayedu.
Yes.
But there are other forms of greeting too for different times of day, right? So, you know, in the US, sometimes you say good afternoon, good evening, good night, if you even say all of those 3 things. And sometimes people do say that here as well. But then some people actually ask you, how is the morning, how is the afternoon, and how is the evening? So with that, do you want to go through what they are?
Yes, in Creole, when we ask those questions, we say, how the morning. If it's during the day, we say, how the afternoon. And if it's evening and at night, we'll say, how the evening.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to see it written down. It makes it easier to express it.
Yeah.
I always try to go from memory, and I'm always saying things like I say it in English. But now that I can see it written and I can see it phonetically, I can probably pronounce it a lot better. So, howdy morning, right? Instead, because I used to say morning, I always add the R in there, and it doesn't have it. Howdy afternoon, 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 right? Howdy afternoon. Howdy afternoon.
No, afternoon.
Afternoon.
No, don't play with your tongue. Like, say
Noon.
Yeah.
What did I do differently? Afternoon. Afternoon.
Yes, the tongue.
Afternoon.
We say afternoon. Like, really dry. We don't monetize the word. We say afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes.
And then how the evening?
Yeah.
I have an evening. Actually, it's even.
Yeah.
Not even evening. It's even. How the evening? Okay. So, how the morning, how the afternoon, and how the evening.
Very good again. Afternoon.
Afternoon. Afternoon. How the afternoon.
Yes.
That's gonna be some work, guys.
It's not easy to learn Creole.
It's not easy.
But when you know how to say correctly, you'll love it. You know, I'm so happy when people from different countries come to Sierra Leone and they're like saying Creoles in a different way. I'm like, wow, I like that way better. Not knowing that they also want to know how we are saying ours correctly.
Of course. So we're just saying, as responses to what we just heard in those greetings, you use some of the same greetings you used before. Maybe you might just throw in the time of day, right? So you can say, like, if somebody says Adi afternoon, I would say Adi evening. Adi evening.
And we, like I say, normally we always keep God first when we reply to somebody in question. So when somebody say out the morning, sometimes for me I can say tell about thank you.
Okay.
Sometimes some people they say the morning not bad. Some kids say the morning fine. Yes.
Okay.
So same goes for all the other one, afternoon and good evening.
Right.
At the same answer we can give the reply, not just the evening, afternoon, morning, different the way how we use them.
There it is. All right. Now we're gonna move on to introductions. Let's do it. All right, so we moved on from greetings to introductions, and of course, when you're talking to someone, you say, "What's your name?" and that is.
Yes. Normally when you come to salon, then people can ask you, "What's your name?" Before ever, then they start to talk to you. Like they can say, "Hi, I'm the body in Creole," and also like when they talk to you, like for instance, they can say, "Hey, what's your name?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just say, "What's your name?"
What's your name?
Yes, my name is. What's your name?
So if somebody asks you, "What's your name?" right? What's your name? Then the response is, "My name is," and that is.
Yes, in Creole when somebody asks you, "What's your name?" For example, I dey say, "Me name na Bintu."
Yes.
Me name na Joe.
Yes.
Same way, so like you pronounce this word and then you alter your name.
Right. So my name not Joe, right? So now that I name, that's it.
That's better. Say it again.
My name not Joe.
Good.
Yeah. That I would say. Some of the other ones I have some more issues with, but I'm working on it. All right. So if you are asking someone as another common introduction, where are you from or what country are you from? That's translated to the following.
Yes. We the answer you say like we ask you say who's you come out. And if we want to know now whose country where you come out from, we can ask you whose country you come out.
Yeah, I think it's more commonly like if you know someone is Sierra Leonean based on their accent, you could just say Usai Kumot, right?
Yes, yes.
But clearly I'm American, so the question would be whose country you Kumot, right? Because it's clear, or maybe it's not clear I'm American, but it's clear I haven't grown up here in Sierra Leone. So the question might be whose country you
Yes,
Kumot.
this is your country. This is for you.
Yeah.
Whose country you come out.
And then obviously if you're more of a local person who's grown up here, you can tell.
Yes, if you ask me
Usai Kumot. There it is. Okay, so the response to where are you from? Remember we had the where are you from locally and where are you from internationally. The responses are I'm from one place or I'm from another country, right? So if you're locally, you would say
I come out from Eastern, or I come out from Lambly, or I come out from Aberdeen. boss will ask you like the present society right now, you come out outside for Kande.
Yeah.
And then they mean that first one. Then for this one, I like way you're not a foreigner, or like even if you're not a foreigner, but you don't live in a different country for a long time, then
Right.
you come salon. So what's just the question? Whose country will you come out from? Then you they reply say, I come out from America, I come out from Guinea, I
Yeah.
come out from this other country. That's what they like.
Okay, so I come out to America, and it is a kind of a question that you ask in the States sometimes. Sometimes you'll say, where are you from? And you'll be like, where did I just come from? Like, where am I living now? Or where am I actually from? So on that note, right, if you want to ask someone where they grew up,
Yes.
when you ask someone where they grew up, how would you ask that question? Usai de bonyu or usai de menu?
Yes, like now, Usa you go. Usa you go.
Okay, usai de grow
Fine, like the side they born you and
Right.
then you grow up. Some
Right.
people they born them some side, but then they go with them to another different place. They
Right.
grow up there. So all revolve inside this answer.
Right.
So not just the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can say I'm on Usai, right? Somebody say Usai de bonyu. You can
Inside
say.
they born you, yes. You can say well me they born me in a salon, but I go up in America.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so that ends introductions. Now we're gonna move on to polite words. All right, so now we are on polite words, and some polite words might be like please, for instance. So how do you say please in Creole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we can say like in a more polite way, like maybe if we ask somebody for do something for we or we apologize, we can say do ya do this for me, or do ya I beg do ya go back for me quick, or I beg do ya pass me water.
Yeah.
So like a more kind of polite, and then we can also get the slangs where most of your way I beg bo, do ya bo, something like that.
Yeah.
So none more we can use on those times.
So do ya or I beg. And you'll notice this too, like, you know how when in America when you're walking across the street, you just be like to a car, if there's a car coming, you do this. In Sierra Leone, it's more of like I beg, even in the way people do things. Like if you're hailing down a car or if a car's coming, people will do this,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah,
let me- it's always more like a please, let me, as opposed to like in the States where we're like we run the road, like stop. It's very different. So it permeates its way through even hand gestures, right? Like when you're hailing down a taxi, you'd be like in the US, you're like, hey, car, taxi. Here, people, yeah, they do this. Or even some people do this, right? Like if you see a car coming, some people do this, yeah. So same kind of thing. The idea is do ya or I beg. Also, for sorry, you can say I beg.
Yes.
And even sometimes you might say please I beg. Please I'm sorry.
The two phrases always go together.
Okay.
They sometimes go together, sometimes they don't in some certain situations.
Okay.
So you just like I mentioned,
Yeah.
I beg go to ya. So it will be the same. Like when you apologize to somebody that you don't do wrong, do ya I beg.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
The last one for polite words or polite phrases is thank you. Obviously, after you ask somebody, do ya, I beg, can you do this thing for me?
Yeah,
You-
after it's done,
yeah.
then you like need to appreciate what that person has done for you. So you go say thank you.
So thank you. Or thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's easy. So those are the polite words and phrases. Next, we're going to move on to common questions and answers that come up in different discussions. So anytime you go to a new country, right, you want to be able to ask people in that country, in their language, do you speak English if you can't understand the language? So I always mention that in 3 major languages, I know how to ask, do you speak English? So in French, it's parlez-vous anglais. In Spanish, it's tu sabes inglés. And in German, I say sprechen Sie English, right? So when you come to Sierra Leone and you want to ask someone, do you speak English? How would you say that?
Well, for this word, we use 2 phrases for that. Sometimes we say, you they talk English. Sometimes we they say, you they speak English. There's a different way of how we write it.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
You they talk English.
So you they talk English,
You they speak English.
or you they speak English. Speak is the English word, right? So.
Yeah.
So you can talk English, you can speak English. That's easy. So if you want to ask people here if they speak English, if you do not understand Creole, you can say you can talk English.
Yeah.
That's it. So now when you're in country and you want to ask people questions like how do you say something? when I'm like I'm in Mexico, Spain, whatever, I usually like to say como se dice hand in Espanol, right? So they would say mano, right? So the same thing here in salon. So how do I say in Creole? How you say chair in Creole?
Chair, just like that, bench, chair, are the same, but sometimes in Creole can mix with English as well. So if talk possibly not one day, yeah, in understanding and this means.
Right. If you want to ask somebody what time is it, how would you say that?
Like I said, we mix matters.
Okay.
When we say Creole.
Okay.
Sometimes they say almost o'clock.
Okay.
Sometimes they say waiting at the time.
Okay.
So we get two ways of asking questions in Creole. Like for ask time, almost o'clock means almost o'clock right now. Then sometimes they say waiting at the time.
Okay. So almost o'clock or waiting at the time. So those are two options. I didn't write waiting at the time here, but after you've seen everything else, you'll know what waiting at the time is. So it's the same waiting. We've already said what in other places, so you got waiting. But almost o'clock. This kind of helps you because this sound, I mentioned it before with the vowels, so almost o'clock, right? So you just have to.
This is all. Almost o'clock.
Yeah. If you're out in the market and you want to buy something, you want to ask how much is it, how much is this, or how much are these? There are two different ways to describe it. So you were just explaining, right? So
yeah. For instance, when we go to the market, like we want to buy pepper and other stuff, you go to the place where they sell the pepper, the yabas and pamine. Just because you must for this, you need to be specific on what you want. Just like you go say, how much for the pepper, how much for the pamine.
okay.
Yes. If you go for buy clothes, you can still say how much for the clothes.
Okay.
Something like that. So just because say almost for this. You need for like a step up.
Okay.
At point time say almost for this.
Okay.
Because some people know like we just go touching stuff. Sometimes maybe you don't want to buy it.
Okay.
Then you go touch it. So sometimes if you point and say how much for this,
Okay.
you see exactly what you want, so you can tell you the price.
And I figured like almost from can almost mean like if somebody has already told you about something.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have this blouse for sale. Then you can respond with
Yes,
almost
I can ask
from.
you almost for.
Okay. So that's where you use the difference, right? So almost for this is like when you're pointing at something,
Yeah.
how much is for this thing? And then if somebody gives you something to say, I'm gonna sell this to you, then you can say almost from.
Yeah, just like if I say, well, I get this white for sale.
Yeah.
Then you can ask
Almost for.
almost for.
Yeah.
Then I give you the white and 10,000.
There you go. Now in the response to tell you how much something is, like it costs X. There's kind of two different scenarios we were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
So this one is if you're in the market talking to someone, and maybe if you're sending somebody somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk through that actually.
Okay. For this one, where they say it can cost, this means like you don't know the price.
Right.
And then the person itself don't know the price. And I just they give random price. So like in case the person say, well, I want to buy this thing at market, how much it can cost. So the person will know the particular price. So he can give you a random price. So now then we then maybe can use this phrase.
Okay.
How much it can cost.
Okay.
But this, you already know the price. So the other type, the wife, the way you ask the person, how much for this wives? Then the person they reply, the wife cost 10 million.
Okay, so the wife's not 10 million. And it's the new Leon, so I put an N here because 10,000 is what we're all still saying because they removed 3 zeros with remuneration. So everybody's still getting used to the new amount, but it can cost.
The right word like this, the wife not 10,000.
So
10 million.
So this is what people actually say here. This is what Google Translate says.
Yes.
Okay, so Google Translate says it can cost, which is a direct translation of how much doesn't cost. It cost. It can cost. And then, but most people say the wife's not. What's he said?
Yes.
The wife's not 10,000. 10 to 10.
This means we're just giving an example. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean only wives.
Right.
Like this phrase can change. You can use any other thing in the scenario.
Right.
Like when you don't ask for something like how much for the bag because you can say the bag not this price.
Right.
This not this price. So just mean say
Wives.
The wives.
Yeah, and the only reason why we use wives is
Oh,
because that was the previous example of how much did the wives cost,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. So which is why I had to wipe this off, so you don't think that everything costs 10 million or wipe or so. You just have to use different things. If you want to buy pepper in the market, the pepper na this na this. So
we haven't mentioned this before, but one thing I want to mention is many times when you go to markets or different places where you buy things, there aren't prices on them. Now in the supermarket, there are going to be prices on things, but like when you're in the market with market women who are selling pepper and all these other things in baskets and stuff, there aren't necessarily prices because everybody gets a different price, you know, especially someone like me, I get the higher price. So you have to know how to negotiate, and negotiating Creole is very important. And a lot of times you basically just try to say, you give your guest your best and final, right? So if someone says it's 50,000, it's 50 leones, someone says it's 50 leones, and you think it should be 20 leones, that is where these phrases come into play. So I'm going to pay this is basically what your response is. And how would you say that in Creole?
well, I dey pay this amount. Or you say, na this I dey pay. Last, na this I dey pay. I'm forgetting the other one past this. Na this I dey pay. Like, you just need for bargain. You know, say you just go say, this is 50,000, and then you say, okay, I'll give 40,000. No, you just get for bargain, follow you get them at the lowest price. So I think they use them to face there. So I dey pay this.
I dey pay this
amount, yes. Or at least I get last. Okay, I don't get any other money again. At least no one gets. So like that came from the most was okay, take that thing, and one.
So now this I dey pay, or I dey pay this, or now this no more I get.
Yes,
which is this is all I have. Now this no more I get mean this is all I have, right? So you just want to make sure that that's how you approach your bargaining. It's always best and final, and then you'll find somewhere in the middle, but you try to get that price. If you know how much things cost after going around with people, it's better to have a local Sierra Leonean to be speaking Creole on your behalf. And usually, there are certain people that are better at bargaining than others, so know who those are and have them do it on your behalf. This is a critical question to be asking. How old are you? It's just good to know. And sometimes that means like when you're meeting with family and you know you have a nephew or a niece that's growing up or whatever, or if you're out there and you're meeting people, sometimes you want to know how old are you. So different ways to say it. So how would you say how old are you?
Well, you don't just go out there asking people how old are you when you're meeting them for the first time.
Sure.
Right? You can't just meet someone and ask how old are you. No, you can't. You need to like establish that bond before you start asking this personal question.
Fair.
In Sierra Leone, not everybody likes to disclose their age. That's a big thing. They don't like to talk about their age because due to the situation, some people prefer to be silent about it. So if you're close with someone like a family member, then you can ask them, how much are you old? Means that you want to know the age of that person. Maybe you're older than that person or that person is older than you, so you can know how to talk to them.
Sure.
Yeah. And then we use another phrase again when they say, waiting at age. This na the like typical Creole way they say, waiting at your age. So like, yeah, I must say old is everybody know this one.
Right.
I must say old.
Yeah.
Like, when you ask waiting at your age, this means you know how to talk the Creole very well. Like
Okay.
you use this.
Okay.
This
So
is easy for them. Yeah.
So this directly translates to how many years old, and this one is what is your age, right?
Yeah, what is your age? Like, what's not your age?
Yeah, okay, and then we're gonna do the response to this in a second. All right, so we asked how old you are. We went through all of the details about why you shouldn't ask specific people, and you'll get a feel for it and to know when you need to ask it.
Yes.
But the response to say like I am a certain age, and we use this age as an arbitrary age. This has nothing to do with the people in the room here, okay? Just to be very clear, it's just an arbitrary age that we use just to put a number in there. So how would you answer how old are you based on what number we put here?
Yeah. I'll say old 30 years. Then we get the other one saying, me na 30 years.
So I old 30 years. And me, I will say I old 38 years. Or me not 38 years old. Or me not 38 years. So that's how I would say it. So I old 38 years, or me not 38 years.
Okay. I'll say it again. Don't go around asking people their ages.
So that actually concludes the common questions and answers. Now we're going to move on to common phrases. All right, so now we're on to common phrases, okay? So we just left common questions and answers. We're gonna do common phrases that are asked or answered all the time. So to say I don't know, right? There are two ways to say it, and you were giving me some insight, so let's talk about these two.
Yes, for this first one, you say I no no. Sometimes in some certain scenarios, it's not polite. It's impolite, and sometimes when you say this to an elderly person, like if they ask you something, they say I don't know. Fitiai, like it's like you're saying something they don't like.
Like defiant. Fitiai is like if you're defiant.
Yes,
right?
like you know how to like talk to them, or you sabi what you dey get and back talk. Say I no no.
Right.
Yes, so this one in some certain scenario it's not good to say. But
Okay.
this one it's okay. Like somebody asks you a question and you say I no sabi or I sabi.
Yeah.
So you can use this. Like so you ask you sabi this person, you say yes I sabi am. No I no sabi am.
Oh, I know Sabi.
Yes.
Or I know Sabi.
Yes. So
Okay.
this is okay.
Okay.
But say I don't know. It's more like polite and sweet sometimes. But this one sometimes no.
Okay.
You don't use this all the time.
So I don't know or I know Sabi. Now I don't know. This is what's in Google Translate. So you have to be careful with this.
Yeah.
As Bintu just mentioned, you don't want to be talking to elders like this, right? Because it can be seen as a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
So just go with I know Sabi. And most people ask questions like you Sabi, you Sabi this, you Sabi, I know Sabi. So you can just respond back with what they're saying. I don't know is I don't know, but you want to be careful.
Yeah, when using this phrase.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to be careful.
So although everything's in Google Translate, you also have to know context to make sure you get it right. We just did I don't know. Now there's you can say I don't understand, right? So how would you say I don't understand?
I know they understand.
I know they understand.
Yes, the good person they talk to you.
Yeah.
And you know actually they get what the person they say. You
Right.
know, they will put them together.
Yeah.
So you get what they say. I know they understand because we can talk.
Yeah. This is a phrase my ex used to say to me all the time. I know they understand. What's he they talk? I know they understand. What's he they talk?
Yes.
So this phrase I'm very familiar with. Yes. So I know they understand. Okay, there you go. So we did earlier say I don't know, or you sabi and you say I know sabi. Then obviously if you do know that you do know, you say I sabi.
Yes.
So we kind of skip past that, but yeah, I sabi. I know.
Yeah.
Right? This could be about a person.
Yeah.
Like you sabi Bintu, I sabi Bintu. So another common phrase is I'm on my way or I'm coming, right? And this, by the way, salon man time. Salon man time. So be careful with these, because this could mean I'll be there in an hour or 2 hours. But when you say I'm on my way or I'm coming, how do you say that in Creole?
Yeah, we get two ways where you say I dey come. Then we get another one where you say I dey pan come. But sometimes like when you talk to somebody with a typical Creole person,
Okay.
you tell us say I dey pan come. You say pan, not the pan Creole.
Okay.
So so like this now for we know we learn to like Creole like not to be typical. Let me say for me na Nipalo.
Okay, yeah.
But we don't use to talk in Creole just because we in a salon.
Right.
Now you really talk in how we general language.
Okay.
So they always say this they find Creole.
Okay.
So for them they write word and they come.
Okay.
Then I write word. But you can use them just for anything. You say Adeban come means you didn't have road. You don't
Okay.
know where they come. So
I dey come or I dey pan come. All right, cool. That's I'm on my way or I'm coming. I'll be back. You can also say
yes, Adekam.
I dey come. So like when you're leaving and you say I dey come, right? Like
Yes.
let's say maybe you're walking someone to the car or you just need to run out somewhere to get something. You're coming back somewhere. You can say I dey come.
I say Adekam just now. Wait for me.
Yeah, Gisno means soon.
Yeah.
So I dey come Gisno or I dey come. I'm coming back. All right, if you are hungry or you want to eat and you want to tell people you're hungry, there are a couple different ways to say it.
Yes. You get one way they say I'm angry. And then you get another way they say I want to eat. So all two not the same meaning, but you get different phrases the way they use.
Yeah. So I'm hungry and I want to eat. What I've noticed is my friends who, especially some of my female friends who get hangry, as we say in the States, because they've been waiting to eat for a long time. I want to eat. I want to eat. But I'm hungry. Now, this can be misconstrued as I'm angry.
Yeah, it means you're like, how you say, is it like when somebody is completely angry? The spelling is like, it's the same for an English word, angry, but this one here in Creole, it's a different word.
Yeah, so it's not like I'm angry, I'm upset, like I vex. In Creole, you say I vex.
I vex.
Right? But, so it's not angry, it's angry. Like I'm hungry, right? But yeah, so I'm hungry. I usually say I want to eat. Usually, this is the phrase that I usually use. I want to eat.
So I'm hungry bad. Bad one, I want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
We use all two at the same time as well.
Yeah, it's just it's two ways to say the same thing, but you can put them together. So I'm hungry, I want to eat. I'm hungry bad. Me step I hungry bad now. I'm hungry. I know it's since morning. I know it's. So I'm hungry. I want to eat. Okay, moving on. You know, sometimes you'll have beggars asking you for things, or you know, if you really don't have, or you don't have the ability to give, especially if there's a large crowd and many beggars, you want to be careful with giving out money, because then you might have like a rush of people trying to get some cash from you. So what I usually say, depending on the circumstance, is I don't have it, which would be like I know get. So I know get means like, you see this bunny ears. I know get.
That's one is if somebody asks us, say, you get money, give me no. Now you can tell us, say, no, I don't get money.
No, I don't get money. Okay.
This we a phrase this way we use now in daily lives.
Okay.
Sometimes person can ask you if you get a certain thing.
Yeah. You get credit.
No, I don't get.
I don't get. Like credit, like somebody wants, if you need this, they want you to just shoot them a few extra credits for their voice calling or data or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You tell the person no, I don't get. Or something if you get let me say like if you get something but actually no, I'm not the person.
Right.
The person asks you get how and you say no, I don't get.
Yeah.
So
I don't get. This is a phrase I use very frequently. I don't get. Sorry,
I don't get means I don't get.
Yeah. I don't get. So when you're on the phone with someone and you're talking to them, usually you ask, what are you up to, right? What are you doing, right? That's kind of a common phrase, and they use a similar phrasing here. There's two ways that it can be said. So
yes, we get the first one when they answer the person asks the person, say, wait till you did bad do. Wait till you do. Right? This is the right way to say it. Wait till you did do. And then you get the other one again, where kind of a bit playful, and we use them all the time, no matter what care whether it's right or wrong. We can always say, wait till you did bad do. We always they include them in waiting we say, especially in Creole. You know, when we go to school, like they say right for me this word in Creole, or like this sentence in Creole, you go put pan, then they want you for that.
Okay. So pan, I know they're about Creole, but I guess other people who are other groups within Sierra Leone use pan.
Yeah, we are.
The Limba people?
No, not the Limba people. Every tribe.
Every tribe.
As long as you talk Creole, when you talk, you must mix them up.
Okay, you add pan.
Yes, you can ask me now.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah.
Or you can ask me, what did you pan?
Okay.
Then I will reply you, I did pan do this.
Okay. So what do they do and what do they pan do? Now what I usually have been saying is what do they pan? Like what are you up to? What are you doing? The what do they pan do? I haven't added that, but maybe I'll start adding that as well. And I think this is one of the things that's from the West Indies, right? So when we talk about the West Indians and West Indian influence on Creole, pan, because they say pan to replay, right? Think about Rihanna's first big single, pan to replay. Pan is a word that's used in the West Indies a lot.
This one, like, wait me, you did that. You can also, in English, you can say, what are you up to?
Right, what are you up to, yeah.
This mean, you can also mean without this. This is when you're doing something, like, wait till you did that.
Right, okay.
Yeah. This full sentence, it's like this one.
Okay.
And then this half also means when you're asking someone what you're up to.
What are you up to?
Yes.
Okay.
If you ask the person like you, wait till you did that.
Got it. Alright. So that concludes the lesson for today. Bintu was a good teacher today. help me get some phrases down, reword some things that I've been saying wrong with my English Creole, my Kringlish, I call it. But we've been able to kind of get to the bottom of some of these phrases and terms. Let me know what you guys think. All of you Sierra Leoneans out there, when you heard me repeating the phrases and terms, how do you think I did? Let me know in the comments below. I want to know what you think. And what did you think of Bintu as a teacher? How was her Creole? Did you understand everything she said? Because you know, in between the lessons, she was throwing in some Creole in there. So I hope you guys can hear it and understand it. And if you didn't, let us know. We'll know in the comments. Any other thoughts, final words for you, Bintu, before we go?
All I can say is, when you want to come to Sierra Leone, you need to learn the Creole. Because when you learn Creole, people know what you feel. Not the best way than they, I can tell you. Learn your Creole, learn your basic Creole lessons before you come here. If you come here, you don't learn Creole, trust me. The Okadaman, they go you feel. You go to market, they go you feel. Whatever thing you do, they go you feel. That's all. And thank you, Joe, for inviting me here. I'm so happy and nice to meet you.
Absolutely, and nice to meet you as well. And thank you for coming. And you know, on your salon man time. But she made it, and I'm glad we did this. And her information is going to be in the description below. You can follow Bintu's channel on YouTube, and then I'll give you Instagram and everything else you want to give. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like this video. If you know anybody planning to come to Sierra Leone, make sure you share this with them, because they are going to need to get these Creole lessons. They need to know before they come. And of course, you need to subscribe. Make sure you guys subscribe. 70% of you guys watch these videos and don't subscribe. So hit that subscribe button.
Subscribe.
Yes. So subscribe to my channel, go to Bintu's channel and subscribe to hers. Hit that notification button, hit the bell that says all, not personalized, but all, so you're notified every time a new video comes out. And with that, thanks for watching. See you guys on the next video. Bye, guys. All right, cool. So that was the Creole lesson for today. 25 words and phrases you need to know before coming to Sierra Leone. What'd you guys think? Did you like it? If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you had any questions, if there's anything that you phrased differently, or you had any questions about any Creole phrases, or if there are phrases that you want to know for the part 2 of this video, put that in the comments below. Let us know, and we'll definitely work on a part 2. Whether it's me and Bintu or me with someone else, we'll definitely do a part 2 if you have any specific phrases or words that you want to know. And of course, anybody who's planning to come to Sierra Leone, make sure you share this with them so they know exactly what phrases and words to use when they're speaking Creole when it comes to the country. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, and I know some of you aren't, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time a new video comes out. And with that, guys, thanks for watching. See you all in the next video. All right, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share it with your friends. All right, see you on the next video.